My name is Mickey Gamonal. I run Gamonal Tutors, where we are doing ASVAB domination. So if you or anyone you know needs help dominating the ASVAB, feel free to look me up. That's Gamonal Tutors.
Paula Williams, ABCI. We are doing sales training for aviation professionals, and we are also doing, by popular demand, resume assistance for aviation professionals as well. So that's something we are just starting this year, or next year, 2021.
And John Williams, also with ABCI. She's the rock star. I do the back end stuff, finances.
I'm Dave Pearl. I'm the fly writer. I write for aviation businesses. If it involves writing, I can write it. I'll put wings to your idea.
My name's Ben Lamb. I am with Renegade Materials Corporation. That's a high temperature advanced composite material manufacturer. And we are providing these high temp materials to aircraft and engine OEMs for their high temp applications, defense and commercial. Live here in Indianapolis with the main manufacturing plant being in Dayton, Ohio.
I'm Debbie Murphy. I'm the VP of Marketing and Digital Strategy for Jet Brokers. We help our clients buy and sell jets and turboprops.
Cool. Let's jump right in. 2020, crazy year. I'm gonna go first. For this year, the biggest thing that I learned was scalability. For the longest time in my profession as an ASVAB tutor or just a general math tutor, I always thought you had to go one student at a time. I've also been a full-time teacher where I had 180 students. And I just couldn't imagine a situation where I could have multiple students at once as a tutor. And so that was probably the biggest eye-opening thing, particularly during this time of COVID where everyone's separated. It actually proved to be an excellent catalyst into getting more people into my classroom at once, because of course nobody can be next to each other. So of course it's online. So it's like everything kind of fell into place for that scalability for me. So I would say scalability was my big 2020 lesson.
So I guess the question is, it sounds like 2020 was a great year for scaling just about any business because people are suddenly adopting all this technology that they didn't use before. Would you agree with that?
I would. I think that people are trying to fill their time right now, right? So like more than ever, there's kind of like people want to feel productive and feel like they're making strides towards their goals, and not just turn into lumps for quarantine. So if you can harness that, like I think you have a lot to work with.
Fantastic. I think that's cool. And I know some of the technology that you're using, so I think it's really fantastic to think about the things that you do and what could you do on a larger scale and how could you make one sale into 5 or 10 or 20. That's a great thing.
Yeah, exactly. No, I'm hoping to start for the next year. I'm hoping to break into webinars and some other like more structured things to create clientele. Mm-hmm. But just getting the general idea of, wow, I could probably help I could help as many students as I helped as a 6th grade teacher easily, which is 180 students. I can do that all day, every day. And I would get so much more out of it than being a 6th grade teacher. Just because I would get the help, right? Like I can fail my students if I want to, and they're paying me to fail, which is like just incredible because it's so powerful that they're invested into their future enough to see the flaws in what they have right now. So it's been a great year for me. Like this business didn't really exist until this year. So for my year, it's kind of like a big light turning on. And then hopefully over the coming years, it'll be smaller lights, but all behind this general idea.
Cool.
Very good.
Yeah. I was going to say something else, but actually I'm going to carry on that same vein and I'm going to say not necessarily scalability, but learning and collaboration. We used to do a lot of consulting, one-on-one consulting with people, and we still do. That's our bread and butter. A lot of it is very collaborative. So what we do tends to be, very, very one-on-one. But if the other person, or if the person who hired us doesn't participate and fully engage and fully participate, it doesn't go as well as it would otherwise. So I guess what I've learned is how to use these tools to get people to do what I need them to do. So, all of these reminders and all of these other things. In a lot of cases, people are just so busy that they don't behave themselves in the way that I want them to. And, so being an obsessive compulsive project manager and working on a marketing project with a client, as an example, there's a lot of ways that we can use the new technology and things like that without being in the same room with people to get them to do what we need to do. And that makes it more scalable. It makes my job easier and it makes everything better. So what I would say is, every single aviation company we work with can learn from this and can do webinars like, Mickey was saying, and can do a course, maybe an onboarding course or how do I know what materials I need? That would be a great webinar for Ben's company. How do I know how to work with a writer? What does that process look like? That would be a great webinar or class for David. How do I know how to buy an aircraft? That would be a great course or a webinar for Debbie's folks, to deliver. And, everybody is participating a lot more, I think, in their own experience, and they're not just throwing things over the wall and expecting a product in return. They're collaborating on products, and they have to know something in order to make that happen, to get a quality result. So yeah, collaboration and tools, I guess, are my two big takeaways from this year. So.
Well, mine's a little more, I guess you might say esoteric, but the thing that's forced on me this year is the fact that you have got to maintain and manage long-term cash flow. Because I can tell you, if you don't, it's going to bite you when prices go up and down and clients go away and come back, and not as many come back. And, it really, really gets interesting if you haven't managed it for a long-term perspective. And that's probably about all I can say about that. The other thing I was going to say is politics at the 95% level, I ignore them. That's what
You can spend so much time and energy on politics. Yeah, vote, you're done.
It's a good rule of thumb, especially for this year. But what, as far as like cash flow, can you be a little more specific? It's like that's the rich dad, poor dad thing where your assets outnumber your liabilities, or like what specifically do you mean by long-term?
No. I'm talking really specific cash flow. When I was 16, I was standing around with my dad and a group of his buddies, and they were all, I don't even know what they were talking about, but there's one guy, he stepped over to me and said, John, he says, you need to remember two words that will run your life, or you can use it to run your life, that is cash flow. That is going to be the thing you've got to learn and manage the rest of your life. Boy, was he right. Because you have to know what your expenses are for the year. You have to know what your revenues are for the year, because those are going to go up and down, but your expenses are going to remain the same. And you need to be managing one against the other. And if you can see that your revenues are going to go down, but your expenses haven't, you need to figure out how to get those expenses down. And sometimes it's painful, but sometimes it is necessary to happen.
Mm-hmm.
Now, along with that, sometimes you need to disinvite clients from participating for reasons of cash flow. They want more than what they're paying for.
Mm-hmm.
And that just has to go away. It's just not profitable. And we're not here to lose money on a client. We don't have to make all our money off of one, and we don't.
Right.
But,
and
go ahead.
To give an example, flight schools have really been hurt this year. And a lot of them cannot have classes. And so they've had to revamp their business models. And so there's a couple of clients that we've been working with saying, okay, let's see if we can provide services for less money for you for some amount of time, and we can go into the red for a great client, and we have no problem with that for a certain amount of time, but we can't bleed forever. So, in some cases, we've been doing some things where we go, okay, we can reduce this expense if we can reduce this service that we provide. And then we can reduce this expense, and juggling those numbers has been John's job. And he's been doing a fantastic job of making that work, where we can balance that so we can charge them $100 less without, and do $100 less of expense on our end. And, just kind of jiggling that down and then back up again as needed so that we can revamp them so that they're ready to go when it's over, or when they're able to invite students back again. So,
and part of the magic of what we do is the fact that we have enough clients that we get an enterprise version of software, as an example, that can be spread over all those clients. Whereas if we got an individual piece of software, then it would be too expensive.
Yeah.
And even so, it would scare you to death if I told you how much we spent in software last year. It scared me to death. I mean, when you get to the taxes, the tax instead of software, and you said, what? And then I had to go back through all the bills to make sure it was really that much. And it is. It's just crazy.
Mm-hmm. It is, but it takes a very sharp pencil and a whole lot of spreadsheets to keep us afloat so that we're not going too far into the red for any given client that needs a break or whatever. So
that's what I meant by cash flow.
Right.
John's been busy this year.
Oh my God.
Cool.
Exactly.
Yeah, I guess all CFOs this year kind of had a rough.
Actually, people who sell jets are having a good year this year. So
Oh, they should. I mean,
they're selling everything that you can fly,
except for the heavy ones, the big ones, right?
Yeah, they're not selling. Everything else is, going. So
Gotcha. Cool.
our guys are busy right now. They're still traveling around.
Yep.
Except for me, I don't have to leave my house.
Go, Debbie. That's cool.
Yeah.
As I look on this year, my perspective is a little bit different in that, I'm not actively in business. I'm more on the retired side of things. But I approach this more as an avocation than as a vocation. But it's been somewhat enlightening for me just to see how excited I get to get back into something that I loved for so many years, but from a different perspective. I'm not trying to win cases anymore, which was always win-lose. And typically clients were the losers, even if we won the case, because they only lost. If we won, they lost less. If we lost, they lost more, but they lost no matter what. And in this world that I'm in now, I have an opportunity to help them win, where we're not doing things. But my takeaway from this year is just how resilient people are. I mean, it goes from the small level on up to the big level. Is that I think great challenges bring out the best in people, not just the worst. We've seen a lot of the worst this year, but just my interactions with the people at the local airport, the other businesses, has been that they're finding a way to make it work. They're adapting, and I think aviation is a field where we've always had to do that. My military aviation, we always had to get the job done with inadequate people, with inadequate material, with inadequate pretty much everything, and we found a way to get it done. And I think the world we're in right now is kind of forcing a lot of businesses to do things that same way, and it's heartening. You don't know whether you've got a good ship unless you take it through a storm. You don't know whether you've got a good business unless you can weather some tough times, and these times certainly have been tough. And it's been heartening for me to watch the resiliency of these people as they adjust, as we adapt to new technologies and so forth. So that's my takeaway.
Sweet. So it's the resiliency of businesses and of people. Is that accurate?
Yes. And you can think that you're resilient. You can think that you're tough. You can think a lot of things. But was it Mike Tyson said a lot of that stuff goes out the window as soon as you get hit in the face. So
Right.
We've certainly been hit in the face this year, and I think we're proving to ourselves that we can handle it.
Hell yeah. I like it. I feel like that could have been the last one. That one's like such a positive vibe. So that's great.
I know, that was so well written. So well said. That shows that's what you do for a living.
Yeah.
Cool.
No, I tell you, I had that's my words written down there, and David hit it, resilience. It seems like this year, you started the year, plans, this is what you were doing, this is where you're going to go on vacation, this was the numbers you're going to hit, this is the trade shows we were going to. I mean, business is booming, we're going great. And then in March, I remember I was on a business trip, and I'm in a bar, and the NBA's canceled. And you're thinking, the NBA canceled their season, and you thought, okay, this is going to get real. And then it's been, obviously precipitous since then. But I tell you, it's kind of neat. At the end of 2020, don't you feel like now it's you're more stable? You can't be shaken up with, hey, by the way, you remember that thing that you're really looking forward to? That's not going to happen. You're not going to see your parents for a year. You're just like, all right, bring it to me. What else you got? Right? Is that all we got? So I guess I feel I'm really thankful for the flexibility, the adaptability that it's brought everybody. And even in the early days in March, God, I remember our church board meeting, and we were wrestling with, what are we going to do? How are we going to go online? What are we going to tell people? What if somebody gets sick? And here we are today, 9 months, 10 months later, and it's just happening automatically. You've got protocols, keep people safe, follow the federal guidelines, and once you do those, then there's a lot of flexibility on how you handle it. You're not going to please all the people all the time, right? We learn that, but you just move on, and this is what we're going to do. And somebody's got to make a decision. That's another thing too, man. You cannot run by committee. At a certain day, the CEO, the president, the GM has to make a call. This is what we're doing, So I guess that's kind of my takeaway. I read this, the meeting invite, kind of like, what did you learn from Paula in the class that I took? And I just want to hit on those three things. Paula, you reminded me, I don't ask enough questions. That is so fundamental. And I've got to get in the habit of asking questions, because it does produce the dialogue. Being conscious of the virtual environment. I was always just kind of working with the computer, camera, and not really focused on everything. And you kind of showed me, no, let's get a right camera, think about sound, call into the phone, make sure you can be heard, and just raising the awareness of the virtual world. So thank you for that. And then also, just you've got to invest in yourself. And what's Covey say? You got to sharpen the saw. And you guys are making it easy to sharpen the saw. So thank you for that. So I've got a 2021. I've got to invest in myself and the skills, and you can't be complacent. You gotta be intentional. So.
Well, you reminded me when you say, go ahead and, throw something else at us. Well, I remember when after I had gotten better at the AH-64 Cobra in the simulator, and because they started me off, I'd never even seen the flight manual. Still haven't. I had a chance to fly that thing for about 40 hours in the simulator. And it got to the point, because we'd done all the EPs, and I said, okay, just start throwing EPs at me until I crash. And then let's back up and see what I did wrong. And so I have done everything possible in an AH-64 Cobra. And a matter of fact, the guy says, at one point, he said, who taught you how to fly one of these things? I said, wait a minute, I told you. I said, I've never been in one before. He said, but what you've done, only one man in 1,000 can do, and you can repeat it.
Probably because you didn't know you couldn't.
Well, he actually accused me of being trained by the Israelis as an undercover guy. I said, no.
Really?
I said, look, it's fundamental aviation, what I just did. I would do that in a fixed wing airplane. He said,
Oh,
wow.
fun.
I said, more people ought to get back to just stick and rudder stuff and ignore the automation. I said, yeah, no kidding. Anyway, that just reminded me of that, because I used to tell, after I passed the check ride in the simulator, then I tell them, okay, keep throwing stuff at me until I can't do it anymore. Let's see what happens.
Just throw me more stuff. Exactly. And I think that's really cool. And yeah, Ben, that's fantastic. And I know we met you for the first time this year, so it's I really appreciate your thoughts as well. That's cool.
Good stuff. Go ahead, Debbie.
I guess the first thing I'd say is actually what's funny is I know that 2020 is going to end. That's like the best thing about it, number one.
It's in the rearview mirror.
But being adaptive and resilient, like everybody else said, has been very important this year. We started out the crisis with our president coming down with COVID. So that was really a crisis. And so we learned to manage our crisis and ended up having a great year. Luckily, they have, I do digital media for them. That's my job. So they really needed me this year. I've been busy, busy, busy.
How is Tom? Is he?
He's fine.
Oh, good.
It took him 3 weeks. It's my brother actually who had it. So
yeah.
So that was rough, but
yeah.
So far nobody else. They still travel. They haven't stopped.
Yeah.
Any of them. So when they could, they travel. It's hard to sell. You really. I guess you could, but it's how do you evaluate a plane without looking at it? Like that's one of our things that we always do. We show up in person. You can't replace that.
Adapting any of the technologies like, the digital logbooks and things like that to do part of that?
Yeah, and we did have, when we couldn't fly, we did have people on the ground take short films of, walk through the aircraft.
Yeah.
A little more closely, digital, just make a video or whatever so that we could actually see what was going on. But we still show up in person.
Yeah. And I think, that we learned 2 years ago when we did that kind of a tour on our way to NBAA, we stopped to see all of our clients on the way there. And that was, for some of our clients, we've been working together for 8-10 years without ever having met them in person. And there is something that is so irreplaceable about sitting down and having a meal with someone. And now we work together so much better because we get where they're coming from. We've met their kids in some cases, and we've hung out with them a little bit.
Their office space, our office space. You're like, wow, look at all these planes that you've sold.
Yeah, right.
Lots. On the wall at Jet Brokers, there is an entire conference room that is wallpapered with little photographs of the airplanes that they have sold.
That's only half of them. We stopped doing it.
Exactly.
Because we don't print out the photos anymore. So
right. And you can hear the numbers all day long, but until you're actually standing in that room going, oh my God, this company is old and established and they have done a whole heck of a lot of transactions. And that doesn't really hit you unless you're there in person seeing something like that. And so that's totally irreplaceable and really cool.
And going to lunch, that's irreplaceable. I haven't done that since March.
Oh my nice.
God.
Well, we were supposed to go to Hawaii. We ended up with a free trip to Hawaii. We still haven't taken that.
We're still trying to go to Hawaii.
I was supposed to be at the beach and on Long Island for 2 weeks in June. Couldn't do that.
Mm-hmm.
And then we decided to say, you know what? California opened up at one time. We'll just go to San Francisco for the weekend, schedule a hotel, and a week later, they call us back and cancel us saying you can't go home. They canceled us.
Yeah.
Well, hopefully the vaccine gets moving and we all can go do what we want.
Right.
Soon.
Well, I think that goes well with what Ben was saying about how we're kind of like ready for more. I think especially when things open up, kind of like Debbie was saying, when we can go get lunch and we can go see walls and we can go do stuff, it's going to be pretty rapid growth. I went to a gym, like a quick little gym session off of Groupon. There was this guy starting his own small business, whatever. And I was talking to him. I'm like, man, as soon as this COVID stuff wraps up, like you've already scraped and fought for every single dollar you've gotten. As soon as like things go back to normal, it's game over, because you're rugged. Like the resiliency, the struggle breeds so much strength. Like it's unbelievable. Anybody who's kind of been through this situation is just so ready for more. So it's great.
Yeah.
The guys like you are doing a startup this year. You can manhandle this and get through it, then you're good to go.
Yeah. Oh yeah. No, I'm not stopping. Cool. And then if you guys are down, because I know it hasn't been the full hour, but if you got a couple minutes, we can do one more round. What is something that you want to do as things open up? The one thing you want to do as things open up, because that kind of brings us, like what we were saying, what's the next step?
The one thing you want to do, yeah. Or the first thing you want to do, maybe, as things improve.
Okay. Cool. Yeah, the first thing you want to do is things improve. Sounds good.
For work or for just in life?
Either, I think. What do you think?
I was thinking work. We'll keep it work focused, right?
Yeah, okay. Let's do work.
Yeah. Cool. All right, I'll go first, and then if you have something that you want to do in life and you want to share, like, of course, we're not going to stop you. So you guys are good. But yeah, so work-wise, as soon as things open back up, I'm going to start hitting recruiting offices. I've already gone to the one that's like next door, but I'm hoping to, like, what I really, really want to do is I want to take a truck and do like a recruiting office tour and just shoot video as I go, get a lot of followers on different platforms, and in the process, do this like free service at different recruiting offices, which also is going to do that face-to-face component that COVID has had us so desperately missing. So that's what I want to do in 2021. Road trip it, go on tour, take the show on tour. So that's my plan.
Fantastic. Go ahead. My resolution, and you're going to laugh, for 2020 was to get every single one of our clients to do a public speaking engagement. That was what we were going to do for 2020. So we filled out all the requests for speakers. We did all the paperwork. We coached people. We cajoled people. We slapped them around until they were brave enough to actually do it. And then everything got canceled. So I still think that is a great way to get a lot of publicity and to establish credibility. And then you got a video of you speaking at NBAA or AIN or Aviation Week or HAI or somewhere. And I think that's one of the best ways for our clients to get credibility is to do a public speaking event. And that totally got derailed, but I really think it's still worth doing. So I'm going to recycle our 2020 resolution and just do it again for 2021.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Well, I've got a financial plan together for financial growth for the company for next year. I think we can really go bonkers.
Cool.
Nice. The cash flow is ready to roll.
That's right. Sweet. Because I've been managing it all this time properly.
If we can make it through this, then yeah, we can do some amazing things.
What I would like to do this year is just expand what I've started doing in the last few months of this year, which is actually visit some of the local airports. They're not local to me as much, but Santa Barbara has one, Van Nuys has one. There are a bunch of airports that kind of within my regional area. I've made some contacts with people at these places, but to get to meet them, to kind of do what you're doing, Mickey, is get face to face with some of these guys, kind of get a sense of what makes them tick. And it's always enjoyable to talk aviation. If there's something I can do to help them, great. But just finding out what they do, I find very interesting. It was very much a highlight for this year when I went out to the San Luis Obispo airport and got to meet the young people that are running that. It's just nice to stay connected with aviation. And so I get a benefit, even if it's not vocationally beneficial.
Nice.
And of course it will be, because that's not what you're focused on.
Right.
Go ahead, Ben.
All right. Well, I see I was looking so forward to visit my sister. She's with the FBI and has a temporary assignment over in Budapest, Hungary. She's there for 3 years. Man, you build this nice vacation, with that as a hub, but then again, you're like, okay, I don't even know if we're gonna be able to go this year. But I don't know. I want to go travel, right? I want to go to a concert. Man, I just miss going to just a big crowd, just a concert. I miss that. But I guess work-wise, I guess it's in the same spirit, getting to the trade shows, getting to the customer, touring the facility, getting hands-on. It's, we're making it work. Obviously, everybody's making it work, but it'll be nice to start putting our toes back in the water until we can fully jump right in. And I tell you, it seems like in hindsight, things that we think were just so big and this is going to change forever, we forget about it. I mean, in a year from now, COVID, what? Oh yeah, I remember that. We're business as usual. Things are going good. I think it's going to be behind us so quick. We're gonna forget about it.
Yeah.
I'm just hoping for that sooner than later.
Yeah.
So are you planning on going to HAI or any of the events next year that are in person?
Yeah, HAI is going to be real live event.
Well, they say that right now, but
yeah,
I mean, Paris is canceled, right?
True. Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen yet.
HAI said they will have protocols in place, but they will be live.
Yeah, they say that now. But you know how I'm saying, it's just like this year, John. It's like, yeah, we'll see.
Yeah, we'll see.
I was supposed to go to Budapest. I don't know about
Just roll with it.
There you go. No, I'm totally with you. I miss concerts and everything else. That's a big thing.
Cool. All right, go ahead, Debbie.
Yeah, mine's pretty much reconnecting with people, with my family, with people, my coworkers, being able to, go to shows, go to lunch. That's a big part of our business. We go to lunch and we talk to each other about what's going on. Which sounds kind of funny, but that's what we do.
No, it's real. It's not funny.
So it's like, I really miss lunch. I'd like to see my sister and my niece who I haven't seen in more than a year. So, because they live in the East Coast, it's impossible to get there.
Yeah.
Right now. So, yeah, connecting would be in person would be great.
Well, and you guys are connoisseurs of fine restaurants. I mean, you guys know the best places to eat and the people there. And it's just so much a part of your culture and your business.
St. Louis has the most amazing individual chefs, open great restaurants here. It's just like part of the culture of our area.
Yeah, there's a KC Masterpiece restaurant that's got fine steaks. St. Louis.
We have a lot of great chefs here. So hopefully they'll still be in business after this year. It's really good.
I was going to say, are they doing all right? Or
some of them are. The ones that we go to, people are still ordering to go.
Yeah.
But a lot, they're really smart businessmen.
Yeah.
They have catered size meals that you can just order for your family.
Yeah.
People are still, making sure they still get their food. I mean, you can't make it at home.
Right. I think that is so smart that some of these businesses have kind of translated their business into something else in the middle of this, because now they're making tubs of pasta instead of individual plates of pasta, and they're putting them in foil.
The great restaurants that have locally grown organic food.
Yeah.
The guys who supply that have had to do CSA boxes. It's people have been very, very innovative.
Yeah.
It's very impressive.
Right.
So, I'm really looking forward to going in the restaurant.
I took a oyster shucking class virtually. You go down, you pick up 24 oysters. They gave you the gloves. They gave you the
that's cool.
All the shucking tool, and then they had a Zoom class on shuck. I mean, it's just being creative.
That's awesome.
That's
yes.
People are doing it. They're figuring it out.
And I think that would be so fantastic if everybody could think of something that they want their clients to do and create a learning opportunity for their clients. That would be such a great opportunity and such a timely thing right now. And
they may want to continue some of that in the future because it opens up another group of people who may not be able to be there in person.
Mm-hmm.
So
oyster shucking. If you can do that in person, then yeah, I mean, you can do just about anything. You know, I mean, you can learn all kinds of things and become an expert, or at least a much smarter consumer of whatever aviation product or service there is. Of course, you know, that's what it comes down to for us. But
Sweet.
yeah.
Well, that's great. I think you guys put in more work than was asked of you. You guys.
We have nothing else to do.
we doubled up questions, right? 2020, and then we hit you with 20. I don't know what we're doing next month, but we'll figure it out.
Yeah,
that's great, guys. Good stuff. So we just do like the same thing how you did an intro. We'll just do a quick outro and we'll call it. So my name is Mickey Gamonal, Gamonal Tutors. If you need ASVAB help, let me know. I'm on TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, Gamonal Tutors.
Paula Williams, ABCI. We are also on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, not TikTok. Can't bring ourselves to do that yet. But yeah, and we offer marketing and sales resources of all kinds for aviation companies.
Dave Pearl, the fly writer. I write copy, I write content. If it involves writing, I can write it. I invite you to let me put wings with your words.
Ben Lamb, Renegade Materials. If you know of anybody that has a high temp composite application, we're the one-stop shop. Not a big TikTok presence, but you can find me on LinkedIn and renegadematerials.com.
Debbie Murphy with Jet Brokers. We help our clients buy and sell jets and turboprops and other aircraft.
Fantastic. You guys, thank you so much for spending the day before Christmas with us. And we really are very happy to have spent a little bit of this year with you guys and really enjoy having you around and really enjoy working with every one of you. So, and the people that weren't able to make it, we are happy that we got to work with you this year too.
Yeah, hey, the people that didn't make it this time, join us next time.
Absolutely. Yeah. Thank you so much.
And one thing,
Merry Christmas, everybody.
One thing for the next year that I would recommend for everybody is to read, right? So you guys will be getting the books from ABCI, or there's a book list. So if you get the opportunity to check it out, I feel like I get a lot out of it. Yeah. There you go. You got it. It looks like you're using it. Have you started writing?
Yeah.
Sweet. Great job.
And mine's all written in and dog-eared by now, so.
Cool. Yeah, I'm ahead of the curve right now. I haven't been using the other one. This one's like later in the year, but.
Yep.
Well,
you're
this
reading
one's
ahead.
kind of at the beginning. I'm the marketing person, so it's a marketing planner.
Yeah, no, that one's
Probably a good
perfect.
plan.
Too. Sweet. Cool. So yeah, if anybody's welcome to the book club, and we'd hope to see all three of you guys, and of course anybody else who can make it. We're happy to have you, whether you've read the book or not. Just your insight is very valuable, and we appreciate your thoughts on all of these matters. So thank you.
Well, everybody have a Merry Christmas and a healthy and happy New Year.
Yes.
I've got you guys. Thanks for everything.
Same
Bye.
to you, and
Bye-bye.
Bye.
thank you, Paul, for all you've done.
Oh, thank you. Talk to you soon.
Okay, bye-bye.
Bye-bye.